Chapter 1021. Shadowless Villa. With the help of Sonia and Gulinger, it only took Zhao Liguo one day to completely bring the power of Pilaman and Suan Yuan's family under the command of Wuying Mountain Villa. Mr. Chen, Miss Su, and Miss Gu are simply too powerful. The strength of the two girls is not inferior to me at all. At such a young age, with such strength, they are really heroes among women. Zhao Liguo saw the strength of the two people, and he touted it. This is a bit embarrassing to praise Sonia and Gulinger. Did you encounter any obstacles from the martial arts alliance when you incorporated the forces of the Thunder Gate and Xian Yuan family? David asked. No, there is no movement at all, not to mention the Martial Dao alliance, even the other sect families have no movement. It's really strange. You must know that these sect families have noses that are smarter than dogs. Know this afterwards. I will definitely step in and get some benefits. Zhao Liguo said strangely. David fell into contemplation. It is impossible for the Martial Arts Alliance to not know about such a big move. Whether it was Zhu Zishan or Guo Wei, no one stopped him. It seemed that they didn't take themselves seriously at all. That's fine. The more the other side looks down on him, the more beneficial it is to him, so that David can have more time to cultivate and increase his strength. I'm going to retreat in the past few days. I don't have any important things. Don't disturb me. After Pavilion Master Zhao has contacted the media reporters, he will wake me up. David intends to seize the time to practice while the situation is still relatively calm. With the 9,000 miles of mountains and rivers map, David finally doesn't have to worry about the exhausted aura, but he just doesn't know if the aura in the 90,000 miles of mountains and rivers map is inexhaustible. I know. Zhao Liguo nodded. Sonia, Linger, you two should practice with me. David looked at Sonia and Gulinger and said. You go first, I'm going to follow Linger to the streets and buy something. Sonia said. What to buy? It's getting dark. David asked. Let's go buy things for women, we'll be back soon, you go to practice first. After Sonia finished speaking, she took Gulinger and left the shadowless villa. Looking at Sonia and Gulinger who left, David always felt uneasy in his heart. Palace Master, the strength of Miss Su and Miss Gu, most people are afraid that it is difficult to get close, you don't have to worry. Zhao Liguo saw the worry on David's face, so he whispered. David was right when he thought about it. With the strength of Sonia and Gulinger, even if they encountered a 7th-rank martial arts master, they could easily deal with it. David asked Zhao Liguo to find a claustrophobic room, and took out a map of 90,000 miles of mountains and rivers from the storage ring and unfolded it. A spiritual consciousness instantly entered the map, and David also entered a state of cultivation. On the other side, Sonia and Gulinger held hands and walked on the bustling streets of Kyoto, looking at the beautiful night scene. Their faces were full of excitement. Although they have been to Kyoto several times, they have not really strolled around the streets of Kyoto. Linger, there is a pedestrian street in front, let's go shopping. Sonia looked at the crowd in front and dragged Gulinger over. Sonia, we're going back late, David won't be in a hurry, right? Gulinger was afraid that she would be out for too long, and David was anxious. He's been cultivating long ago, why is he still in a hurry? It's all right. Sonia took Gulinger and walked over. This is the most prosperous pedestrian street in Kyoto, with a dazzling array of things in it, and there are various snacks on both sides of the street. Seeing the snacks, Sonia and Gulinger's eyes lit up. After playing on the pedestrian street for more than 2 hours, Sonia and Gulinger walked back with hiccups. Chapter 1022. But as soon as they walked out of the pedestrian street, 5 or 6 young people greeted them, and a few of them were obviously drunk and looked drunk. After seeing Sonia and Gulinger, one of the young people in a plaid suit with a middle score instantly straightened his eyes and stared straight at them. Feeling the young man's gaze, Sonia and Gulinger showed a look of disgust, then bypassed these young men and continued to walk forward. 2 little beauties, where are you going? My brother has a car to send you. The young man in the plaid suit stopped Sonia and Gulinger, said with a sullen look, and pressed the car key casually, and a Ferrari not far away flashed its lights. Go away! Sonia frowned and said in disgust. Come on, the little beautiful woman is quite strong, the type that my brother likes. The young man in the plaid suit said that he was about to do something to Sonia. Sonia snorted coldly, a burst of breath from her body. The young man in the plaid suit suddenly felt a huge thrust, pushed him directly 10 meters away, and fell heavily to the ground. This time, the other guys instantly sobered up and looked at Sonia and Gulinger in surprise. All of them rubbed their eyes, unable to believe everything just now. No one of them saw Sonia make a move just now, but their companion flew out, it was H3LL. Several people ran over, helped the guy in the plaid suit up, and then looked at Sonia and Gulinger in horror. And Sonia and Gulinger sneered at a few people and continued to walk forward. When passing the Ferrari, Sonia slapped the palm gently. I saw the Ferrari collapsed instantly, as if it had been smashed by a heavy object. This time, all the guys were dumbfounded, and they didn't react until Sonia and Gulinger disappeared. Ha ha ha, it was so cool just now, you didn't see those idiots, it was so funny. Sonia laughed. Sonia, David didn't explain it. In such a downtown area, it's best not to use your breath when dealing with these ordinary people. How could you forget? Gulinger asked Sonia. It's okay, I didn't kill anyone casually, I just taught that guy a lesson. Sonia said nonchalantly. Just as Sonia and Gulinger walked out of the downtown area and approached the suburbs, they suddenly gathered a few breaths and surrounded them directly. Immediately afterwards, 4 masked men in black blocked the way. Feeling the breath of the 4 people, the faces of Sonia and Gulinger instantly became extremely ugly. Who are you? Gulinger looked at the 4 and asked. One of the masked men ignored Gulinger, but looked directly at Sonia and said, You come with us. Who are you? Why should she go with you? Gulinger stood in front of Sonia. We don't want to do it, it's wisest to follow us obediently. There was a flash of coldness in the masked man's eyes, and then the breath on his body suddenly increased several times. Suddenly, Sonia and Gulinger seemed to have been immobilized, and no one could move, as if they were caught by the mountain was held down. Don't hurt Linger, I'll go with you. Seeing this, Sonia hurriedly said. She knew that the 2 of them were not the opponents of the 4 in front of them at all, and the difference in strength was too great. The masked man waved his hand, and the 2 of them immediately stepped forward to control Sonia. Then, with a slight jump, the figure instantly disappeared into the darkness. After these people left, Gulinger felt that the pressure on her body disappeared, and then she rushed towards Wuying Mountain Villa anxiously. Chapter 1023. Master Zhao, where is David? Gulinger, who ran back to the shadowless villa, asked Zhao Liguo anxiously. Miss Gu, don't worry, what's the matter? Zhao Liguo saw Gulinger panting, and hurriedly asked with a glass of water. Sonia was taken away. Gulinger took a sip of water and hurriedly said. Ah! Zhao Liguo was dumbfounded for a moment, and then hurriedly ran towards the backyard with Gulinger, then pointed to a room and said, Mr. Chen, it's here. Gulinger pushed open the door directly and pushed David, who was sitting cross-legged. David's figure flickered, and his consciousness immediately came out of the 9,000 miles of mountains and rivers map. He saw Gulinger with an anxious face, so he asked, Linger, what's wrong? Sonia was taken away. Gulinger said anxiously. Boom! This sentence, like 5 thunders, made David stunned on the spot. After a while, David came to his senses and asked quickly, Who is it? Do you know who took Sonia? Gulinger shook his head, I don't know, the other party is covered, but his strength is very strong. I'm afraid he has the strength of the Peak of Wuzong, and the other 4 people, Sonia and I don't even have the chance to resist. David frowned instantly when he heard the opponent's strength. In the entire Kyoto, there are not many people who can reach the peak strength of Wuzong. They are out of the martial arts alliance, and there are some high-level sect families who can achieve this strength. Who will it be? Why capture Sonia? Is it someone who has a grudge against you? Chen Jing thought quietly. David, hurry up and think of a way to take someone out to find it. Seeing that David had not spoken, Gu Linger said anxiously. David waved his hand, don't worry, let me think about it. David closed his eyes slightly, and his brows were tightly twisted into a Sichuan character. After a while, David's eyes suddenly opened, and a bright light burst out in his eyes. I know who caught Sonia. David exudes a strong killing intent. Who is it? Gu Linger asked hurriedly. Guo Wei of the Martial Arts Alliance. David's eyes narrowed. Guo Wei. Gu Linger was taken aback. Why did he arrest Sonia? Is it to threaten you? David shook his head. They caught Sonia not because of me, but because of Sonia's fire spirit body. You forgot that I sucked Sonia's blood when I was fighting against Guo Wei. Guo Wei saw this at the time, so it must be because of this that Sonia was taken away. Ah, what should we do then? Let's hurry up and save Sonia. Gu Linger became even more anxious when she heard it. If this is the case, then Sonia is in danger. In order to increase their strength, don't those people try their best to bleed Sonia? You are waiting for me here, and you are not allowed to go anywhere. After David finished speaking, his figure disappeared in the room in an instant, and I saw a light and shadow, heading in the direction of the Martial Arts Alliance. In a dungeon of the Martial Arts Alliance, Sonia was imprisoned in the room by the formation, and all her strength was suppressed. Zhu Zishan was wearing a mask and looked at Sonia who was caught, and was extremely excited. He couldn't let Sonia recognize him, otherwise, if this matter spread out, what would be the difference between their martial arts alliance and those evil cultivators? You, who are you? Sonia looked at Zhu Zishan with fear on her face. Why did you bring me here? Don't be afraid, I won't hurt you, I just want to borrow something from you. Zhu Zishan smiled lightly. You, what do you want to borrow? Sonia asked. I want to use the blood in your body. Zhu Zishan said, took out a bright dagger and grabbed Sonia's wrist directly, which shocked Sonia. Chapter 1024. However, because of the suppressed strength, Sonia and ordinary people are now undoubtedly unable to break free from Zhu Zishan. Zhu Zishan grabbed Sonia, the sharp dagger swiped across Sonia's arm, and instantly a wound appeared and blood flowed out. There was a bowl on the ground, and all the blood dripped into the bowl. Soon, a bowl full of blood flowed out of Sonia's body, and Zhu Zishan hurriedly helped Sonia bandage the wound. Holding a bowl of bright red blood, Zhu Zishan's eyes lit up and he licked his lips. Walking out of the dungeon, he said to the two guards at the door, I eat and drink with me and serve this woman. If she loses a hair, you know the consequences. As ordered. The two guards trembled slightly. They had never seen each other before. They were imprisoned in the dungeon and served like this. Lord, how is it? At this time, Guo Wei, who was waiting in the hall, saw Zhu Zishan walking out with a bowl of blood, and hurriedly asked. Whether this girl is a spiritual body or not, I have to test her blood to find out, but this matter must be kept secret and not allowed to be shared with anyone. Zhu Zishan warned Guo Wei. Don't worry, the leader, the few people who went with me have been sent to other places by me, and no one will know about it. Guo Wei said confidently. N. Zhu Zishan nodded in satisfaction. But at this moment, a manic and rapid aura instantly enveloped the Martial Arts Alliance. Guo Wei, UBA5TARD, get out of here. It was followed by an angry shout, which was like rolling thunder, and the entire Martial Arts Alliance seemed to be shaking. Guo Wei and Zhu Zishan's expressions changed instantly, and then they entered the courtyard in a flash. The two of them have to see, which one has no eyes and dares to come to the Martial Arts Alliance to make trouble. When the two came to the yard, they saw David standing there with a look of anger, and the tyrannical murderousness of David continued to rise and spread. "David, what are you doing in my martial arts alliance at night? Are you really not afraid of death?" Zhu Zishan looked at David with a cold expression. David didn't pay any attention to Zhu Zishan, but set his eyes on Guo Wei, his obsidian-like eyes exuding a cold and fierce light, giving people an infinite sense of oppression. "Guo Wei, release Sonia to me." David gritted his teeth and said in an unquestionable voice. "What are you talking about? Why can't I understand?" Guo Weiagu shook his head without knowing what to do. "Don't pretend, my girlfriend was caught by you. If you don't let her go today, I'll make you regret it." David's eyes narrowed slightly, and the spiritual power of his whole body began to boil. Seeing David like that, Guo Wei suddenly burst out laughing. "Don't talk sh.t like that, what can you do to me if you're so good at it?" Guo Wei is not afraid of David's threat at all. If two people fight alone, David's strength at the peak of Guo Wei's Wuzong is not an opponent at all. "Let her go!" David let out a loud shout, followed by a golden glow on his whole body, and scales instantly covered David's body. The terrifying spiritual power surrounds David. At this moment, David is like a sun that suddenly appears in the dark night, illuminating the entire martial arts alliance extremely brightly. "I'm asking you, will you let me go?" David asked word by word. "I said, I don't understand what you're saying." Guo Wei's face is joking. "Court death." Speaking, David's figure suddenly turned into a streamer, and he came towards Guo Wei fiercely. The huge sense of oppression instantly made the joke on Guo Wei's face disappear, replaced by a dignified look. I saw that black light began to emerge from Guo Wei's palms, and then the black light became brighter and brighter, and finally turned into two black balls of light. Chapter 1025. Suddenly, both palms came out, and two black balls of light collided directly towards David. Boom! The two terrifying forces collided instantly, followed by an earth-shattering sound. The huge shock wave caused many houses in the martial arts alliance to tilt and collapse. The surrounding residential areas also turned on the lights, wanting to see what happened. In this collision, David's figure was repelled, and his feet left a deep ravine on the ground. The golden light on David's body dimmed a lot, and blood began to appear on the corners of his mouth, but David ignored it and charged towards Guo Wei desperately again. At this time, Guo Wei was not much better, his body swayed twice, and his face became pale. Guo Wei's brows finally furrowed when he saw David rushing over again. Seeing that David was in front of him, before Guo Wei could make a move, Zhu Zishan shot it with one palm. David's golden body was slapped out by Zhu Zishan. Boom! Smashing hard on a wall, David's body stopped. This palm of Zhu Zishan made David's internal organs like a knife twisted, and his eyes were also full of blood. Even so, David gritted his teeth and stood up, glaring at Guo Wei and Zhu Zishan. "David, don't think that there is Mr. Shi behind you. I won't dare to kill you, dare to come to the martial arts alliance to make trouble. You are the first. You said that Director Guo arrested your girlfriend. Do you have any evidence? Come here without evidence. Sh.T can't say anything here, even if I kill you." Zhu Zishan said with a gloomy face. David glared at the two of them, but his mind was much clearer at the moment. Although he suspected that Guo Wei had taken Sonia, but there was no evidence, it was just his own guess. Now that he is going to keep making trouble, maybe his life will be lost here. After all, his strength is still too far behind the opponent. If I find evidence that your martial arts alliance captured Sonia, I will definitely make the martial arts alliance disappear completely. After David finished speaking, he turned and left. Seeing that David was so arrogant, Guo Wei wanted to catch up and clean up David, but was stopped by Zhu Zishan. "Leader, this guy is too crazy, why don't you take this opportunity to kill him directly? Even if Mr. Shi is to blame, we have something to say." Guo Wei asked in confusion. "Don't worry, someone will take care of him. Zhu Zishan looked at David's back, and the corner of his mouth raised slightly. David dragged his injured body back to the shadowless villa. David, what's wrong with you? Seeing that David was injured, Gulinger hurried forward and asked with concern. I'm fine. David shook his head with a worried look on his face. Have you found Sonia? Gulinger continued to ask. No, but I'm sure Sonia was captured by the Martial Arts Alliance. Although Guo Wei did not admit it, David was convinced that Sonia was captured by him. Then what should we do? Sonia won't be in danger, right? Gulinger burst into tears when she heard it. Don't worry, those guys in the Martial Arts Alliance shouldn't be able to kill Sonia. Killing Sonia won't do them any good. I think their capture of Sonia must be related to Sonia's fire spirit body. David comforted Gulinger. In fact, David himself was very worried about Sonia, but at this time, he could only be stronger. If he fell, no one would be able to save Sonia, let alone his mother. After a night of healing at Wuying Mountain Villa, David went to the Dharma Protector Pavilion the next day, and followed Zhao Waoqi about Sonia's arrest. Chapter 1026. These guys are so lawless that they dare to arrest people at will. I will report to Mr. Shi now and ask Mr. Shi to go to the Martial Arts Alliance to ask for someone. When Zhao Waoqi heard this, he was also very angry, so he wanted to go to Mr. Shi and ask Mr. Shi to ask for someone. David stopped Zhao Wuji, Zhao Pavilion Master, even if Mr. Shi goes, it is useless, we have no evidence, they will not admit it, what can we do? Then what should we do? Zhao Wuji frowned. Pavilion Master, Mr. Chen, look quickly. At this moment, Su Shimao hurried in with his mobile phone in his hand. Later, Su Shimao opened the Martial Arts Forum, and saw the first big scarlet letter above, which turned out to be Long Xiao, the son of the Long family. In order to avenge the humiliation of the ancient tomb, he decided to challenge David. In addition, Long Xiao himself personally wrote to David on the forum, and asked David to take on the challenge, not to act like a coward. Mr. Chen, why did Long Xiao suddenly challenge you? Zhao Wuji asked in surprise. It stands to reason that Long Xiao is higher than David in terms of surface strength and family power. This is a sudden challenge to David. If he wins, it will be disgraceful. If he loses, it will be a shame for the Long family. Do it. No matter why, since they took the initiative to seek death, it's no wonder David was burning with anger at this moment because of Sonia's incident, and now Long Xiao jumped out, and he just took Long Xiao to vent his anger. Have all the news media reporters I asked you to contact. David looked at Zhao Waoqi and asked. Contact. Zhao Waoqi nodded. Well, I will hold a press conference now, and I will disclose the scandal of the Martial Arts Alliance. David's eyes narrowed. Soon, a large-scale press conference was held, and David was the protagonist of this press conference. Excuse me, Mr. Chen, did you suddenly hold this press conference to respond to the challenge that Long Xiao, the son of the Long family, challenged you? A reporter asked David. David shook his head. I didn't pay attention to the challenge that Long Xiao sent. When he wants to come, I will accompany him at any time, but there will only be one result, and that is to make him a complete defeat. The purpose of my press conference this time is to expose the viciousness of the Martial Arts Alliance. As we all know, the Martial Arts Alliance, as an organization of the entire Kyoto martial arts world, has the responsibility and obligation to uphold justice, punish evil and promote goodness, but these guys are secretly making peace with each other. Some evil cultivators collude and practice sorcery, they are simply a bunch of scum, a bunch of sanctimonious guys. These guys not only practice sorcery, but also rob them. The treasure I got in the trial was once threatened by the leader of the Martial Arts Alliance. It's shameless. They also took my daughter. My friend, I wanted to threaten me with this, so I decided to fight with the martial arts alliance to the end and never compromise. Following David's impassioned speech, these words were quickly spread on the internet and reprinted in various martial arts forums. In the martial arts alliance. Looking at David's speech, Zhu Zixin dropped the tea bowl in his hand in anger. Damn, this guy is crazy, he dares to openly challenge our martial arts alliance, he is tired of living. Zhu Zishankai's face was ashen. Leader, what should we do next? Now many people on the forum are accusing us. Guo Wei also looked ugly. Reproach yourself, you go to a press conference to clarify, then David is a bunch of nonsense. Zhu Zixin glared at Guo Wei fiercely. Guo Wei was so frightened that he hurriedly nodded and left. Zhu Zixin took out a glass bottle, which contained bright red blood, Sonia's blood. Chapter 1027. Looking at the bottle of bright red blood, Zhu Zixin shouted out, "Prepare the car, go to Long's house." And the dragon family at this time. Long Xiao is also furious. David, I must kill him, I must kill him. Long Xiao roared. David actually didn't take himself seriously in front of many reporters, which made Long Xiao feel a great humiliation. Long Jingguo also had a gloomy look on his face, and said to Long Xiao, "It's useless for you to be angry. With your current strength, are you sure you can fight against David?" This time, Long Xiao was stunned. He didn't have a clue in his own heart. After all, David was the one who killed the Pileman and Swan Yuan's family. He didn't know whether Long Xiao was David's opponent or not. Waste. Seeing Long Xiao's silence, Long Jingguo couldn't help but curse. Originally, he had always been proud of Long Xiao. After all, at such an age, he had already reached the realm of the 7th-ranked martial sect. He was simply a genius. But now that David has appeared, he has compared Long Xiao in a short period of time, which makes Long Jingguo very uncomfortable. After all, he knew that David was his sister's son, and he also had the blood of the Long family. He couldn't look at David as better than his own son. At this moment, Zhu Zixin walked in. "I wish the ally." Seeing Zhu Zixin coming, Long Jingguo was slightly taken aback. "Long Patriarch, I specially gave Long Gongzi a big gift. I remember telling you." Zhu Zixin smiled lightly. "I wish the Lord, what is the gift?" When Long Xiao heard this, he hurriedly asked curiously. Zhu Zixin took out the glass bottle full of blood from his arms. "This is the big gift I'm talking about." Long Xiao was stunned for a moment, took the glass bottle in his hand and looked at it, his face full of doubts. "I wish the alliance leader, what is in this glass bottle?" Long Xiao didn't see it, but Long Jingguo saw it at a glance. "I wish the alliance leader, is there human blood?" Long Jingguo asked in surprise. "Yes, it is filled with human blood." Zhu Zixin nodded. As soon as he heard it was human blood, Long Xiao immediately put the glass bottle on the table and asked with a strange expression, "I wish you, Lord, what are you doing with this human blood?" "Of course, it is for you to drink. If you are not David's opponent in the ring, you can drink this person's blood, and your strength will increase quickly, and there will be no side effects." Zhu Zixin explained. As soon as he heard that he was allowed to drink human blood, Long Xiao immediately shook his head. "I wish the alliance leader, this will not work. I'm not an evil cultivator, drinking human blood in public. What do other people think of me and our Long family?" Long Jingguo also nodded. "I wish the alliance leader, I have heard of this person who sucks human blood to improve his strength, but my family Xiao doesn't practice evil arts, even sucking human blood is useless. This is not the blood of ordinary people, it is the blood of a fire spirit body. I just let you drink the blood when you lose to David, and if you don't say anything, who can know the blood inside?" Zhu Zixin said with a slightly cold face, "Since you don't appreciate it, then I'll take it away." Just when Zhu Zixin was about to take the bottle of blood away, Long Jingguo took it in his hand and said, "I wish the alliance leader's kindness, how can we not appreciate it?" Seeing Long Jingguo say this, Zhu Zishan had a smile on his face, so he asked, "Which day do you plan to set the challenge? How about in 3 days?" Long Jingguo sought Zhu Zishan's opinion. "Okay, I must frustrate David's spirit in 3 days." Zhu Zishan nodded. "No, 3 days is too short." At this moment, a voice of disapproval came from the courtyard, followed by a grey-white old man who walked in wearing a Taoist robe. Chapter 1028. Master. Seeing the old man, Long Xiao hurried up to meet him. And that Long Jingguo also hurriedly greeted him, shouting respectfully, "Master Ding Chan." Master Ding Chan nodded slightly, then looked at Zhu Zishan. "I wish the leader, 3 days is too short, 7 days, give me 7 days, I have a way to make Xiao's strength improve to a realm." Seeing what Master Ding Chan said, everyone was stunned. After all, cultivation is different. How can you be promoted to a realm in such a short period of time? Even if it is a small realm, it is not a breakthrough. Unless you use some evil cultivation methods, you may be able to quickly improve your strength, which is why many people take risks and practice magic. Master Ding Chan, you can raise a realm in 7 days. This is a bit too fast, isn't it? Is it possible? Zhu Zishan asked in disbelief. I wish the alliance leader, Long Xiao, has now reached the critical moment of breakthrough, and he will soon be able to reach the 8th rank martial sect. Originally, he did not intend to come back for the trial. In this case, I am confident that Long Xiao will reach the peak of martial sect by the end of the year, and this time he will come back. The trial took a lot of time for him to cultivate, so I had to go down the mountain myself and bring a Zheng Yuan Dan to help him break through. Ding Chan explained. When Master Ding Chan said this, Zhu Zishan finally understood, but for a reliable master like Master Ding Chan, Zhu Zishan is envious. After hearing Master Ding Chan say this, Long Jingguo felt remorse in his heart. Originally, Long Xiao didn't plan to come back for the trial, but because the trial was in the Emperor's tomb, Long Jingguo called Long Xiao in order to get the treasure inside. Came back. But who would have guessed that he didn't get anything in the trial, and was beaten by David, which almost ruined Long Xiao's face. But regretting it now is useless. Fortunately, Master Ding Chan went down the mountain in person. In this way, if Long Xiao will fight David, it will be a 100% chance. Master Ding Chan, thank you so much. Don't worry, I will immediately send someone to repair some Taoist temples for Master Ding Chan to increase the number of followers of Master Ding Chan. Long Jingguo hurriedly thanked Master Ding Chan. Patriarch Long is very polite. Since Long Xiao is my apprentice, I will naturally be responsible for him. I also trouble you to find a secluded place for me. I will help Long Xiao break through. Ding Chan said. Good good. Long Jingguo nodded again and immediately ordered someone to clear a courtyard, and instructed no one to approach or disturb it. Long Patriarch, it seems that compared with David, young Master Long will definitely win, but in the arena, David can't be beaten to death, so he will be saved for the time being. You have to tell young Master Long. Zhu Zishan warned Long Jingguo. I wish the leader of the alliance rest assured, I will guarantee this. Long Jingguo nodded. Even if Zhu Zishan didn't tell him, Long Jingguo wouldn't let Long Xiao kill David, and it would still be useful for him to keep David's life. Kyoto Guardian Pavilion. Zhao Waoqi approached David and said, Mr. Chen, the Long family has issued a gauntlet, and in 7 days, they will let that Long Xiao and Mr. Chen compete. David nodded, I see, but I didn't expect it would take 7 days. It seems that they want to improve Long Xiao's strength. David had full confidence in the fight against Long Xiao. As long as there was no accident, then Long Xiao was not his opponent. Mr. Chen, what are you going to do? There are no eyes on the arena. Do you want me to go to Mr. Shi and ask him to mediate? You just beat that Long Xiao. If Mr. Shi comes forward, the Long family will not dare not to give face. Zhao Waoqi didn't want David to fight, it was obvious that the other party had calculated this. Chapter 1029. No, since they want to compare, let's compare. David waved his hand, and then continued, I'm going to retreat for a few days too. If there is nothing else, don't come to me. Okay. Zhao Waoqi nodded. At this moment, a member of the law enforcement pavilion came to report in a hurry. Pavilion Master, someone has come to see Instructor Chen. The member of the Protectorate said. Who is that? Zhao Wuji was taken aback. At this time, David is regarded as a hot potato in the entire Kyoto martial arts world. Whoever dares to approach David is equivalent to fighting against the entire martial arts alliance. Now suddenly someone is looking for David, which makes Zhao Waoqi very surprised. He said his name is Dong Jiahao. The member of the Protectorate said. Why is he here? David was a little surprised. David has not seen Dong Jiahao since they were separated in the ancient tomb, but his impression of Dong Jiahao is not bad. As the member of the Protectorate came to the hall, David found that Dong Jiahao was drinking tea. Seeing David coming, Dong Jiahao hurriedly got up and looked at David with admiration. David, you are amazing, you dare to openly challenge with the Martial Arts Alliance. I have long disliked these guys, but I don't dare to. Tear your face, you kid is really awesome. David smiled lightly, I'm just forced to be helpless. You can do it with confidence. I support you. Now that the Martial Arts Alliance is the dominant family, there must be someone to resist. Dong Jiahao patted David on the shoulder. David smiled, Brother Dong is looking for me, is it because he came to tout me? Ha ha ha, touting you, how can I still use it to find you? It would not be better for me to buy you a group of Navy soldiers directly in the Martial Arts Forum. I am looking for you this time because of an important matter. Dong Jiahao said, his eyes looked around twice. This is the Dharma Protector Pavilion, there will be no eyes and ears. David is very strange, what is Dong Jiahao going to say, so mysterious? David, do you remember that Ningji? Dong Jiahao asked. David nodded, of course I remember. Then Ningji threatened David at that time, how could David forget? Beware of this kid, I heard that he has been spying on the treasure in your hand. Dong Jiahao said in a low voice. Haha, if he has the ability, come and grab it. I'm not even afraid of the Martial Arts Alliance, but I'm still afraid of him Ningji. David didn't care too much. As the leader of the Martial Arts Alliance, Zhu Zishan personally found David and asked for a map of 90,000 miles of mountains and rivers. David refused, and he would be afraid of Ningji. Gentlemen are easy to provoke, villains are hard to guard against, that Ningji is very insidious, and the strength of the Ning family is not much worse than that of the Martial Arts Alliance, be careful yourself. Dong Jiahao warned. Well, thank you Brother Dong for reminding me. David said gratefully. Dong Jiahao stayed for a while and left, while David took out a map of 90,000 miles of mountains and rivers, ready to start retreating for a few days. But just as he was getting ready, David was called out again. Pavilion Zhao, is there anything else? David walked out of the room and asked Zhao Waoqi. Mr. Chen, someone is looking for you again. Zhao Wuji said. Who? David was a little surprised, what happened today? There are always people looking for him, and they can't succeed in retreating and cultivating. Ningji of the Ning family. As soon as Zhao Wuji finished speaking, he saw that Ningji led someone over. Ningji was still followed by the old man who seemed to be weak, but this time, there was a short, very capable man beside Ningji. Brother Chen, stay safe. Ningji still had a smile on his face, which made people look very friendly. But David knew that this kind of smiling tiger was the most terrifying. Chapter 1030. Do you have anything to do with me? David asked calmly. Brother Chen, I'm here to help you this time, there is absolutely no other meaning. Ning Ji also seemed to see that David did not welcome him, so he said, "Help me." David frowned slightly, "What are you helping me?" Dong Jiahao just told him to leave, and Ning Ji will arrive immediately, which is too coincidental. "Brother Chen, I've come from a long way, you won't let me stand in the yard and talk." Ning Ji smiled slightly. David glanced at Ning Ji, then said lightly, "Come in." Ning Ji led someone to follow David into the room. As soon as he walked into the room, Ning Ji's eyes were attracted by the picture of 9,000 miles of mountains and rivers, and his eyes were full of greed. David felt the strangeness in Ning Ji's eyes, so he put away the map of 90,000 miles of mountains and rivers and put it directly into the storage ring. Ning Ji looked at the storage ring in David's hand, and his eyes became even hotter. "Master Ning, won't you introduce us?" At this time, the man wearing a short and lean man said. Ning Ji finally recovered his senses and said to David, "Brother Chen, this is Mr. Kai Wanggu of Northwest Wanggu." Gu Kaiwan clenched his fists towards David, "Brother Chen, I'm in the Northwest, and I heard about your name a long time ago. At a young age, dare to challenge the Kyoto Martial Arts Alliance. What a young hero! You'd better talk about it directly." David ignored that Gu Kaiwan and said directly to Ning Ji. He didn't like Ning Ji at first, and since Dong Jiahao just reminded him, David was always on guard against Ning Ji at this time. "Brother Chen, I heard that your girlfriend was taken away and her whereabouts are still unknown." Ning Ji asked. David nodded, not feeling surprised. After all, the Ning family is a big family in Kyoto, so it is not surprising that Ning Ji knows about some things. "Brother Chen, I can tell you that your girlfriend was captured by the Martial Arts Alliance and is now locked in the Martial Arts Alliance's dungeon." Ning Ji continued. "I've already guessed this, if you just tell me this, please go back." David didn't want to entangle with Ning Ji too much. "Don't rush me away first, I'm telling you something you don't know." Ning Ji smiled slightly, paused for a while, and then continued, "Your girlfriend was taken away, and now it has become a resource for Zhu Zishan's cultivation. Zhu Zishan will use your girlfriend's blood every day, not only does he use it himself, as far as I know, he also gave Long Xiao a bottle, so that when you guys are fighting, that Long Xiao's strength will be greatly increased." After Ning Ji finished speaking, David stood up abruptly, and then the terrifying murderous aura instantly rose from his body. In the clear sky, a large black cloud began to condense, and the surroundings fell into darkness. Although David expected that Sonia was captured by the Martial Arts Alliance, it must be because of Sonia's spiritual body, and these people will definitely study Sonia's blood. But now that he heard Ning Ji say it himself, David could no longer suppress his inner anger and killing intent. "How did you know?" David looked at Ning Ji and asked in a cold voice. "You don't need to know this. The entire Kyoto is not the only one of the Martial Arts Alliance. If I want to know anything, I will naturally have my own channels." Seeing David getting angry, the smile on Ning Ji's face became even stronger. "Are you telling me this to say that you have a way to save my girlfriend?" David thought that the reason why Ning Ji told him this was that there must be a way to rescue Sonia, but there must be a price, and the price should be the 90,000 mile mountain and river map and storage ring in his hand. No, Ning Ji waved his hand, "Don't think I'm too powerful, I still don't have the ability to save people from the dungeon of the Martial Arts Alliance.